The final walkthrough. You're a buyer's agent. You've gotten this property under contract. Buyers got financing. Today is the day. So you have a closing date. Everyone involved is super excited. Do not drop the ball on the last day. As a listing broker, we have had so many buyers agents reach out to us last minute to schedule a final walkthrough. And of course we accommodate, but seriously, how embarrassing. When you receive the closing confirmation date, send an email to your clients letting them know you would like to set up the final walkthrough. Suggest the day of closing or the evening before. And while the seller is responsible to have utilities on through the close date, I do like to let my buyers know that this is a good opportunity to confirm they have activated ComEd, People's Gas for the day of or the day after closing. It's happened. I hate going to properties on the walkthrough and the utilities are off. We literally cannot perform the final walkthrough and it just throws a wrench in everything. I fielded calls from brokers in our office being like, what do I do? So the final walkthrough ensures the home is in the condition that you last saw it and ensures the client is getting exactly what they are expecting. The last thing you want is for your client to go to the closing, not have done a final walkthrough, get the keys, and then go back to the house and it be a disaster. It happens. Make sure you review the final attorney review letter because that's going to outline what's been agreed upon as far as repairs, things like that. Also review the contract and all of the sale terms. Every deal has different deal terms. Make sure you're understanding what this deal is offering. When we enter the home, I let the clients know, hey, I have a very detailed process. You're welcome to follow me around, or we can just circle back when I'm done, 50-50 on what clients do. My final walkthrough procedure takes about 15 minutes. I go through the home in a methodical way, starting on the main floor, testing all the appliances to ensure they're all in working order. Make sure you have a cold fridge, ice, microwave, dishwasher, all working. All the burners and oven are working. A lot of times sellers have a professional cleaning crew come through post move out, which I absolutely love and always suggest. Sometimes one of the burners won't light because it's clogged with cleaning stuff or the top isn't aligned. Just make sure you guys are going through and ensuring that this is all working. I also check all the cabinets, make sure they're empty, check the hot water in a couple locations. Also run the water in every location and make sure there's no leaks under the sinks. Sometimes when people are moving out, things get knocked around. Just be diligent, be thorough. Bathrooms are checked for cleanliness. I always make sure all the toilets are tight and that the showers are working. Walk every room and make sure that everything's in order. If window treatments are checked on the contract, make sure that they're still there. Make sure there's no broken windows. I do not test them for operation. That's just kind of a little much, but make sure that everything's looking good. I do test all of the mechanicals. Make sure that the heat is on. Even in the summer, test the heat. You can also test the AC. This might be the first time the AC was tested by your buyers and or inspector, because if you bought the home in April or even March, the inspector may not have been able to test for the Freon because you have to be above 70 degrees. So make sure everything is blowing and working properly. Make sure you inspect and investigate any repairs that were agreed upon. You should have received receipt or photos of these repairs, but it's nice to walk through in person. Review the contract. Again, make sure that everything that you have checkmarked is there. Appliances are obvious and window treatments, but a lot of times we're seeing TVs and consumer electronics be included in the sale. So make sure that those are in the right place. And in the rare case, personal property that was agreed upon, make sure that's also in the property. Do a visual inspection of the exterior as well, roof, windows, landscaping. I've seen people take trees. Shit gets weird all the time. Also check the garage. That's like the last minute dump zone. So we've seen piles of stuff in the garage that is not acceptable. Test the garage door, make sure that's operational. I also walk through and make sure we have keys for every single door. I cannot tell you how many times I have fielded phone calls being like, hey, we don't have the side door key. Well, guess what? We test them on every single final walkthrough. We always make sure we have the garage door opener and any codes associated with doors and garage door openers. A lot of times those push buttons. So rather not be last minute and running around chasing our tail. Let's make sure you do it all at the final walkthrough. Your client is probably a deer in headlights, so make sure you take charge, do your job, leave them with a confident feeling walking into that closing that they are getting the property that they expect with all of the details that surround it. If there are any issues at final walkthroughs, and this will happen in your career, make sure you take photos, take notes, send those over to the email, send those over to the attorney in an email outlining what you've seen and what's happening. I always let them negotiate the holdback or credit for any of these final walkthrough issues. It happens, and that's their job, to kind of make sure that this runway at the end of the path is smooth and taken care of. This kind of summarizes my process. If you guys have any questions or any fun stories that you've ran into, fire away. If not, I'll leave you guys on this note.
Actually, I have a question. Based on a previous walkthrough where the power had been shut off, we didn't notice that there was a gas leak coming from the oven because the gas had been shut off. And so once they restored power, they noticed a gas leak and it became a huge issue. So what what could you have done to help me avoid a situation like that in the future?
Well, that goes into the beginning is, hey, make sure that your clients have initiated service for the day after closing. They would have absolutely had the service left on in a rolling manner. So you just have to make sure that the appliances are on, or sorry, the utilities are on. If they're not on at walkthrough, I always do a holdback. It's not acceptable. It is the seller's responsibility to have all utilities on day of closing. So you do a holdback, and you should have notified the attorneys and be like, hey, we don't have power. We can't do a final walkthrough. Hold back $5,000 until we can get our appliances, everything on.
Got it. Makes sense. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. Have a great day, guys, and keep chugging forward. This is going to be a sluggish fall, but I do anticipate we'll see some movement in the housing inventory in the coming months.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.